If you look around my office, you might realize I have kind of a love for dark, twisted cartoons. And a lot of that may be because I grew up with a lot of dark, twisted cartoons. Now, I'm not talking about the ones like Batman or ones that were meant for older kids. I'm talking about the ones that were meant for little kids, and they probably should have been made for little kids. And I loved the hell out of them. I enjoyed how much they scared me. I loved how every time you got through one, you felt a little tougher. So I'm doing a series reacting and reviewing them. We're gonna analyze how creative they are, how dark they are, and if the dark, twisted tone was warranted. So join me in taking a look at some dark tunes. I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times, don't trust alligators, they turn you into puppets. The Great Fusilli was released in 2000. It once again got a lot of requests for Courage Month, so let's take a look. So this is an interesting episode because I was watching it and I did not find it that dark. I was kind of wondering what people were talking about. And then it gets to the ending, and the ending clearly is where all the dark stuff is. So if it seems like I'm kind of glancing over a few things in this episode, it's because I just want to get to the ending because I think that's what most people remember most about this episode. Yeah, even at the beginning, I'm not blown away by the colors in this one. I always go on and on about the colors and the shadows in the show, and this one kind of opens on this brown, dirty, not especially interesting landscape. I guess the shot's okay with the house kind of silhouetted and the shadow really stretching out there. But it might just be a personal preference. I've never been really big with brown colors in a show. It just doesn't leap out to me, but again, maybe that's just me. Booga, booga, booga! I do kind of like this joke because it doesn't even show him putting on the mask or having any reason to do so. Literally, Courage is just sleeping and suddenly he has it on, scaring him. Just the random cruelty. This truck is kind of fun. This is definitely a satire of carnivals and circuses, which you'd usually see in Depression era, where they would fold everything up, usually into a vehicle. And I really like the way the truck actually opens up and there's the seats and a little ladder stretches out. I think it's a very clever thing.
The Great Fusilli at your service.
Fusilli is voiced by the great Jim Cummings. Praised this dude like mad before, man. I'm not gonna suck his dick again, but God, he really is like the voice actor, like one of the top 5 best ever.
The stage, she call you, no?
He's one of those dudes where not only does he have a great range, I mean, he can go from Winnie the Pooh to Pete. I mean, you'd never guess it's the same voice, but he also can make almost anything funny. He just has this great way of, whether it's doing a funny voice or accent or whatever, he can make any line sound funny and leap off the page.
I'm too shy.
No, I think you could be a star.
And like a lot of the characters on the show, he's very good at both sounding silly and threatening at the same time.
And then, oh, then you stay forever.
This is a nice little bit of foreshadowing, saying that they should be a part of the show, they should act, and when you act in the theater, you're there forever, you know, thinking that it's symbolic, but it's very literal.
You say the line.
Cow.
I do kind of like this creepy idea of you always hear this crowd that's laughing and applauding, but there's nobody there. And I either think it's kind of like spirits and ghosts that just kind of travel with this thing, or it's the puppets up above, which, again, spoiler, you know what happens in this episode. But either way, it's a very creepy touch.
When I was a girl, I did juggle a little.
That's another great bit of randomness. Who knew? Where'd they even get a motorcycle and an anchor to juggle?
This is your dressing room.
This dressing room is kind of fun. Obviously, it's supposed to have like a clown angle to it with the wallpaper that looks like a clown's pants. You have like the clown costumes there as well. So yeah, there are some shots in this that look very nice.
Everybody, places on the stage.
I also like that their costumes are essentially their exact same clothes, just exaggerated, and what they're doing in the show is the exact same thing they do at home. So yes, this is what everyone remembers, that all the people that he comes across are turned into puppets, and they're very creepy puppets, and it's a disturbing idea. It's very, very disturbing. As you can see, Eustace and Muriel also get turned into them.
I don't feel quite myself.
I talked about this in one of the Courage episodes prior, that there was always something really creepy to me about being turned into something, whether it's a puppet or a robot or something. And man, you can feel that here. Just the idea of being turned into this lifeless doll that's moved around, you have no control, you can't say anything. The idea of like your mind still being in there, like you're still conscious, but you can't control it at all. It's a creepy idea. And what I like about this too is, even though Courage technically gets them back, as we'll see in a second here, the other people are not saved. They're just left to be puppets till the end of time. And again, that's a very disturbing thought.
This is just tickling me.
Puppets, like anything that are supposed to be mimicking people, also look creepy, because you recognize where the eyes are supposed to be in the mouth, but they're still very, very off. They're still lifeless, but you can still recognize what life is supposed to be in there, what the eyes are supposed to convey, what the mouth is supposed to convey, but it doesn't quite. It is something that's still dead and lifeless, so that contrast creates this very uncomfortable feeling a lot of time. Now, of course, you're supposed to look at puppets and be delighted and everything, but it's very easy to see why people can be freaked out by them too. So Courage hides in this makeup powder, leading to what I think is a pretty funny resolution to this is Fusilli, master of supernatural elements and turning people into puppets, is scared by a phantom. It's scared by a supernatural element.
It's a phantom.
And of course, this is an example of the villain getting a taste of his own medicine, being turned into the puppet at the end. But he doesn't seem to mind, because this is what he really likes to do. He likes to perform, so he seems okay with it.
Cow.
But then you have this ending, which is kind of surprising, because this is one of the few times where Courage does not save them. They're just left as puppets, and he has to pretend that they're talking. He does legit good impressions of them, and he's surprisingly a good puppeteer, but they are still puppets. They're still these lifeless chunks of wood. We know in whatever the other episodes that they're back to normal somehow. Maybe he looks on the internet again. That always seems to be the answer. He goes on the internet to figure out what to do, but there is something really uncomfortable that this episode just ends this way. We know in another episode they'll be okay, but still a very, very dark, uncomfortable ending.
The things I do for love.
And there you go. Again, that is not mostly a dark or creepy episode until the end, but man, that's creepy. That is a creepy ass ending. It's a creepy ass idea. Again, that there's been variations of this done before, but to do it in a show like this meant for kids, and especially with an ending like that does not have them turning back to normal, it is kind of unsettling and uncomfortable. And even though I said, yeah, I didn't get into that much of the stuff before, it's not bad. There's nothing in it that's wrong or upsetting or anything like that. It just wasn't as good as the other Courage episodes, but I mean, you still have a creative idea. You still have Jim Cummings as that character. You still have a really, really uncomfortable ending, and I still think it works. I still think it's a good episode. What did you think? Did you get into this episode even before the ending, or was it just the ending that stuck out to you? And what were your thoughts on that ending? Did you just have a good laugh, not think about it, or did it legit get under your skin? I'd love to know what you think.